Hi friends, just wanted to make a quick update on my continuous harvest hydroponic lettuce system. This system has been really running since November 4, and November 4 I planted these two plants here. Those were the only survivors from the first planting. When I started them out in a chicken container like this, and these were started a little over a week ago. They're going to go in this tray here when I pull the rest of these out. These here I planted later, really just to fill the tray. So every week I seeded again. I've got two seed trays, so 2 weeks in a seed tray, and then down to one of the bins, hydroponic bins. This was the second week, third week, fourth, fifth, sixth week. You can see this one here is currently I am harvesting. I'm also harvesting these. These are ready to be replanted. And here are the future lettuce coming up. I'm using giant Caesar romaine. That seems to turn out really good. I'm using 5-inch trays. 5-inch trays, in my opinion, are not as good as 7-inch, because what I found is if you don't watch the pH and water level very closely, you get nutrient burn, or at least the edge of the leaves are turning brown. I'm not really sure what that is. I think I can get around that. It just requires that I watch the pH level and the water level very closely, because what you'll find is when the plants get to be about this size, they really start to take up a lot of water. And this stage of 2 weeks from here to here, they will take up probably a gallon, maybe more than a gallon of water, and during that time you just have to be very aware of water levels. I topped up with tap water and found that was a mistake. I think that part of the problem was that my pH went too high with tap water, and that may be the reason why the tips of the edges of the leaves are a little bit damaged. And I am not adding nutrients. I am running about between 800 and 900 parts per million nutrient level, using 10822 hobby formula and the Epsom salts, and that's pretty much what I'm running. I would suggest the 7-inch trays instead of these 5-inch trays. That little bit of extra volume gives you it really helps out in keeping the plants alive. And I would say that the real solution here, this is my second setup that I built, but the real solution is to get a single reservoir that is the entire area there, with floating rafts of foam, with cutouts for the net pots, and then maybe a 20 to 30 gallon reservoir that pumps continuously, or frequently pumps nutrient solution into the growing bin. And I think that's version 3. This is version 2. I don't think I would want more than 6 trays to manage. That tends to be quite a bit of work. I had some problems. I had mice tear up this first batch of plants, and so I put a mouse trap and caught 3 mice. That's why I only had really 2 survivors from that first seeding. The second, I also had problems, and it was partly mice, but it was partly plants were dying, and I don't really know exactly why. My response was to clean all of the trays very carefully, you know, with the thought that maybe there was something on the trays that caused the problem. And that after that, it did seem to solve the problem, so maybe that was it. And the other issues of pH and water level, you know, when the plants pull that gallon of water out in the 2 weeks that they're growing, you know, what tends to happen is the remaining nutrients, salts that are in solution, the concentration goes way up. So that's why it's important to add water. Probably plain water is better than adding nutrient solution, in my opinion. For lettuce doesn't really need a lot of nutrients. So that's a quick update. Hope you enjoyed it, and I am pretty sure I will be able to get this running very well. It'll just take a little bit more attention to water levels and pH, and I should be able to essentially pull out, you know, 8 good-sized lettuce plants per week. And another thing I wanted to say was I've been planting 2 seeds in each rockwool cube and just letting both go. In the past I always pruned one, but now I'm letting them both go, and what I find is I get a nice little tight bunch of leaves that I really like this type of leaf to harvest better than the huge leaves, you know, that you might get if you prune them. So seeding 2 seeds in a rockwool cube and just letting them go seems to be working good for me.